Now, if I were to boil all of that into a bag, put that all into a bag and then tie it, that bag would actually spell the word God.
Yes.
Because really, I've faced a lot of challenges in my life. I need not enumerate, but there's been a lot of challenges, especially with health. And, and I've had my own moments where I've wrestled with God, saying, but why? Isn't this enough? And then I still get other challenges that come. But then, at the end of the day, especially in concerts, it's like he tells me without mentioning it, but with me seeing it, this is the reason why. You have it, you have what you have, but I've got your back. I've got you, and I'll take you to places you've never even imagined, if you allow me to, and if you are willing to take that road. And I said, okay, take me there. And so here I am.
Well done. Thank you.
You're most welcome. Thank you also for that question. And Stephen Curtis Chapman is based in the United States. And are you familiar with the show called ASAP? It's a ABS-CBN. It's okay. He became a guest in ASAP once, and when he arrived, I went to him backstage and I said, Stephen, it's Gary. He says, thank you for making my song popular in the Philippines. But the way I came across that song was when my brother-in-law, Anthony Pangilinan, got married to Maricel Laksa. And he said, bro, can you make a -1 of this, because he wanted to sing it in his wedding. And so I made a -1 of it for him. But when I heard the song, I said, wow, I would love to someday be able to record this song. And then the opportunity came up in 2001. Little did I know that it was going to create the kind of impact that it did then, and that it still continues to do so today. So I will be here. That's how it came about. And another song that I didn't write, which is a song called Warrior as a Child, was actually written by a female. Her name is Twyla Paris. Those two songs came out in the same album. I had an inspirational album called Revive, and those two songs were in it. And those two songs actually made a mark. And so, when I do write songs though, like a song like Take Me Out of the Dark, Could You Be Messiah, those are songs that stem from deep within my own personal walk, my personal walk in life with the Lord. I don't even force myself to write these things. They just come out. They're inspired by Him, and I just give it back to Him. And I'm thankful that somehow the songs have managed to meet people at the point of their need. Especially that song, Take Me Out of the Dark, that came out, that I re-recorded in my studio at home during the pandemic. So it's a totally different version. That's the version I'm actually doing in the show. And it's, if you watch the video on YouTube, you'll notice that you won't see my face. Because I remember telling my niece, Julia, who's with me now, I said, Julia, she was staying with us during the pandemic because it was a lockdown, so you couldn't get out, right? But we needed to produce material for both the show, ASAP, from home. ABS-CBN, we lost our whole franchise and all, but the show had to go on. So we had to produce our shows at home. And I remember telling Julia, I have a version of Take Me Out of the Dark. We're gonna do this one take. Okay? Yeah, but Tito, your face won't be seen. Never mind. It's not, my face is not important, but the message is. And so I created an arrangement for the song. I played it. I had my iPhone here, and the lighting that I had was the screens of my monitor, my computer screens, and it was all silhouette. And the rest is history. It managed to reach people from all over the world, and I'm thankful that that song has continued to create an impact in people's lives, despite the fact that I wrote that song in 1986. So it's amazing how He orchestrates things. Just when you think the song is already over and done with, He says, no, I'm not done with that. In fact, I think that for generations to come, that song will continue to play its role in people's lives. Music, it easily is associated with two of the biggest groups in the Philippines today, SB19, which is an all-male group, and the other headline is Beanie, which is an all-female group. Once they step out on stage, there is not a seat that will be occupied because everybody's up on their feet. SB19, well, Beanie, and I have to introduce them to you because I'm proud of them.
Okay.
But Beanie, I saw them when they started. Our show called ASAP, we always like to use it as a platform for new artists. I saw them when they would come every Sunday, you know, getting ready for the show, and they would be rehearsing backstage, and they'd be rehearsing. But every time they would rehearse, I would be looking left and right, and I'm trying to look for people, and I want to tell them, wala ba kayong napapansin sa mga to? Parang meron talaga. And then I would receive looks from other young artists. Tito, because I'm an artist, you know. Yeah, Tito, you notice it too? I said, yeah, these girls, given a little more time, they're gonna make a big impact. And SB19, they were actually taking. Are you familiar with a K-pop group known as BTS?
Yes.
Yes.
Of course, right? The management of BTS got SB19.
Oh.
But then what happened was BTS was the biggest thing, so they couldn't give much attention to SB19.
Okay.
So SB19 was already in Korea, they were already being trained and all that, but nothing was really happening to their career. So they decided, guys, what if we just come up with our own music and let's just see how well it does? And then they came up with a song called Gento. Gento means it's a slash between ginto and ganito.
Okay.
And that's how all their songs are. There's always a deeper meaning to just the title. So they have a song called Mapa. Mapa, it means mama and papa. And where are many of the mamas and the papas? They're in other parts of the world. Yun yung mapa. Kung saan yung mga mama at papa. They're in the Middle East, Canada, you know, and all of that. They have a song called Damn. Okay, so it's not damn. It means something. It means parang damn is parang kung anong yung nararamdaman. Di ba? Yung damdamin. Ganun. So that's SB19. So they had a concert. Beanie had a concert at a different time, and this SB19 had a concert in the Philippine Arena that holds close to 60,000 people. SB19 did 2 nights, and they sold both nights out. They're on tour, world on tour. The reason I'm saying this is because the advancement, not just with talent, but the sound, the way recordings are done in the Philippines today, is different. Then you have a young singer by the name of TJ Monterde. You have one of the BTS singers. I mean, not one of the BTS, but you have him creating an impact even in the Middle East. You see these Arabs in the car singing this song, and they're like, "Oh, this is Filipino. This is Filipino. Did you look at that? You're very good. You're very good." And they're singing that song of his, you know, and I can't help but smile when then of course you have Ben and Ben, you have Moira, you have Maki. I mean, these are names I highly recommend you listen to, because this is the sound now. Okay? Then of course, if you want to hear like, you know, Gary Valenciano, because he's still doing his thing. But when I go abroad, especially when I go abroad, I want to be the spokesperson. You want to talk to me about Palawan and El Nido? I'll be the biggest spokesperson of that. But I'm proud of where I come from. And I'm proud of what we have. Okay, we have a lot of problems. Politics and all that, that's a totally different thing, but there's a lot more to the Filipino than just politics. You know, there's music, there's the heart, the grind of life in the Philippines is what makes us who we are.
True.
A lot of people go to the Philippines and say, wait a minute, I know you guys are going through a lot, you're considered to be a third world country, but why do you guys receive people from the first world country with so much warmth, with so much, you take us everywhere, and you're not gonna, and every young person that goes is greeted by an older person, not with, oh, halika na dito, iho. It's, halika na dito, anak. And why anak? What does that mean? It means you're a son or a daughter. Halika na na dito, anak. Kumain ka na, anak. Oh, did you eat already, anak? I mean, there's always that word. So that says a lot about who we are, you know. And it translates into the juniors and juniors and seniors of college, okay, and
Face to face.
11th and 12th graders in high school in the Philippines. Why am I doing this? Because I think it's just something that's been in my heart, that I want to speak to young people. That's how my career started. It started with a lot of young people. Internet and social media was totally unheard of back in the day, but it's because of that student body that my career started. So now I've been going back, and when I do meet them, it's not with the entire batch. It's maybe with 150 to 200 students only. So it's very intimate because
To work overseas. The trend has continued up to the present. So what does that song mean to you now?
wow, it's okay. I'll share with you one incident that took
Babalik ka
place
rin.
in I think it was 1997. No, it was 2007 or 2008. I was performing in Houston, and it was a revolving stage. And what the song means to me, okay, has a lot to do because of incidents like this. Because I know this was not the first, nor was it the last. There was an elderly couple in front, and the music started, and it was just me performing it. Saan ka man naroroon ngayon, Saudi, Japan o Hong Kong, babalik ka rin, babalik ka rin, babalik ka rin. So when I first passed them, they were right in front, and you have the elderly man and the lady going like this. Then in the second round, when it got to the second chorus, "Kay tagal mo na nawala, babalik ka rin." I saw the gentleman was like this, and the elderly lady was her arms around him, and he was breaking down. And at the very end, the gentleman was totally down like this, and the elderly lady was going, reminding people of home, because many people have left, not by choice, but because they had to, especially those in Hong Kong or in the Middle East. You call them unsung heroes. I call them like sacrificial lambs, because they've had to be separated from their families at the time when the kids need them the most. But if I can remind fellow Filipinos that home is always going to be there, regardless of what situation it may be like in Manila or in Quezon City. Those are just two parts of the Philippines that's made up of 7,100 plus islands. But if you're from Bicol, like I am, or if you're from Bacolod, or Baguio, or Bulacan, or Batanes, or Cagayan de Oro, or Iloilo, I mean, I can go on and on and on. There's a place back home that may not be a place for you to live in, but you can certainly go back and just refresh that spirit of being Pinoy. That's what makes us stand above, not everybody else, but we just stand above the muck, the stuff that goes on, and people say, why are Filipinos like this? I just came from the Philippine embassy, and the consul general said, you know, here in Canberra, there's very little racism. If there is, it's very little. I said, why do you think it's like that? And he said, it's because the image of the Filipino here is people respect the Filipino. And it's not just the nurses that there may be a few of, but it's just the way the Filipino is. But sometimes a Filipino can also get drawn into the culture of where they're at. We can adapt to that easily, but it's nice not to forget where we've come from. I was offered to go to the United States and have a career there. Early in the 2000s, I could have given up everything with the guarantee that my career would take off somehow. But I had to give it up because I needed to be with my kids. And even my kids now are like, you know, that in a way, buti na lang you did that, because the United States now is also going through so much. And And I didn't ever want to find myself getting lost. So that song, Babalik Ka Rin, which I will be doing in the show, it speaks more than what the song actually says. And Babalik Ka Rin will always be one of my personal favorites because it was actually the theme song of Duty Free Philippines. Okay? And it was ballad. It was the first demo that was given to me was not the way you hear it now. It's not like that. It was more of the like a teleserye theme song. Kay tagal mo na. But then I was introduced to the music of Edru Abraham, and he had a session where he brought in the kontragapi, where they were all playing the kulintang, the kudyapi, and all of these instruments, and I said, wait, what if I got this idea and put it into Babalik Ka Rin? Okay, how am I gonna do? How? Bagay ba kung mas mapit? Wait. Kay tagal mo na. What if I make it Kay tagal mo na? And then I can put the and then I can put in the okay, then I went home. And then I produced the whole thing at home. Then I made my wife hear it. And then she sent it to the head of Duty Free Philippines. The problem was, patapos na. That song's, the version that they had was, they were gonna get another song already to replace the season of Duty Free Philippines. But then when they heard my song, I don't know what happened after that other song because kawawa, there was a songwriter that they hired and all, and I didn't do it on purpose. It's just that, what if we can just do this? And so there's one concert which I think is online. It's called Babalik Ka Rin. It was my concert, my live concert called Move in 1995. It was with Sir Edru Abraham, and it was with indigenous dancers who were doing indigenous moves from different parts of the Philippines. Yung may kawayan na ganon, tapos may nakaapak dun sa kawayan, tapos may... It was caught on video, and then I had the maneuvers, the dancers I'm with, doing their own modern take of what we used to do, what Filipinos used to do back in the day. And yeah, so I won't have the dancers with me now, but the heart for that song will always be as a part of that song.
And thanks for coming to Canberra.
Yeah.
Fantastic, yes.
Yeah.
Thank you, Daniel.
Verses 5 and 6, which is the chorus of the song. Teach me to trust in you with all of my heart, to lean not on my own understanding. I just forget that you won't give me what I can't bear. Take me out of the dark, my Lord. I don't want to be there. I went into the studio, and those were the lyrics that came out. And I told the engineer, okay, can you just play the intro? And then of course, sir, can we test your face? No, just play it. Just play it now. I'll just write the lyrics, okay? Just what is it in me? Wait. Can you stop? Sometimes I just don't know. Keeps me in your love. And that's how it came out. And my American producer, the late Larry Scott, was just watching me. He says, Gary, I knew something happened to you. Just keep on going. Just keep singing it and all. And so that's how that song came about. Then it was, I think, summer of honey. When was that time when the radio stations said Holy Week of that year, of 86, Holy Week of 1987. We were planning to push another song, and I think it was the song called Each Passing Night that had Regine Velasquez as like a duet, but only in the middle part of the song. We knew it was going to be a great hit, but because it was Holy Week, radio stations at that time, you have to call in your requests. For the young people here, you have to call in the radio station and say, can you play this song? Can you play that song? Well, the radio stations were telling us, there's this one song that people are requesting. It's called Take Me Out of the Dark. Maybe it's just meant for Holy Week. So can we play that first instead? And then after Holy Week, we'll start pushing this song called Each Passing Night. So they played Take Me Out of the Dark. And the rest is history. And that is the time that I realized, okay, you do what I tell you to do, Gary. You follow me, and I'll take you I'll take you to where I promised you'd go. And that's when I knew I was on the right path. My life verse changes like my favorite songs do. So like there might be a week where my favorite song is a song called Search and Know, which is a song that I wrote. It could be another song called Gaya ng Dati, which was written by a pastor, and you might actually hear a little bit of that in the show. But my verse right now, my favorite life verse is found in Psalm 92 verse 14, where it says, I will keep you fruitful, even in old age. Amen. I'll keep you fresh and green. Now, green can be maybe the way you look, but fresh can be ideas. And that's what I hold on to. Because it's his word, that's not mine, right? So I have to rely on him. Regardless of struggles, God never expected us to be perfect, but I think he loves it when we're persistent and when we strive to be excellent despite our imperfection. So yeah, that's it. You alone are my heart's desire, and I long to worship you. You alone are my strength, my shield. To you alone may my spirit yield. You alone are my heart's desire, and I long to worship you.
Wow.
There's only one word, and that's Jesus. I can't, I was saying, in fact, Tony Gonzaga clickbait yung kanya when I said I wanted to leave him 150 times. But really, when I've saved his life a lot of times because type 1 diabetics are only given, supposed to be 30 years after diagnosis, which was 14. So his doctors had told me that, he was 20 or 19 when they told me, because he had a major attack before his aranethical celiac cancer. And that was a reality check for me, and I said, oh my God, what did I get into? Because I was looking at him. And we haven't surrendered our lives to Christ yet. Then obviously I got pregnant, so we were kind of sinful. What has really, when I say Jesus, it's really his word. Because you can be a Catholic, you can be a Christian, but if you do not know his word, nothing's gonna happen. You're just a nominal Christian. And when people say, Nicole, because of you, guys this, guys that, and I say it could have been anybody. You're really you just have to be available. You're just really a vessel, And when you asked about what is it, what is the secret? If you memorize the certain key Bible verses, you kind of lose fear, because when I first saw him like that, and I said to myself, oh my gosh, I'm gonna be stuck to this guy forever, and he has a terminal illness. It's like a lifetime illness, and sometimes I'd wake him up in the night and I'll just say, are you okay, are you okay? I was really a wreck, okay? And but when I surrendered my life to Christ, reconnected to the Word, I started memorizing. So the more I memorized, the more I walked on water. Because he's the Word. The beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word became flesh and dwelt among us. So the Word is Jesus. So, when you walk on water, you can only walk on water when you focus on Christ, like Peter did. But if I focus on the wind and the waves, if I focus on Gary, I will sink. So all those little tips in the Bible, like surrendering, submitting to husbands.
It's still something she's really working on.
It's a lifetime goal. I mean? Couple goals. But I believe that Peter walked on water when he focused on Christ. When we looked at the wind and the waves, and the wind and the waves could be your bank account, your husband, his weaknesses, or anything. You seek. So you focus on the word. And the word, it says that the armor of God is, a lot of things, right? You've got your sword, this. But the sword is the word of God. So you can have your shield, which it says that the shield of faith is on one hand, and on the right is your sword. So what can you do with faith if it doesn't have the sword? You can just be defensive all the time, right? But if you have the sword, even when he looked dead, and this is a reality, in 2005, I looked at Gary and I thought he was dead. Because I woke up at 3 in the morning and he was having a hypoglycemia attack, which was, he wouldn't wake up, and he started having seizures, he started having convulsions, and then I just started putting glucose gel on his mouth, because I had done it already quite a number of times before. But this time it was really bad. I really thought he died because I had 911 called, and then his road manager then came in and
You were
just
in the US at that time.
Yeah, and she was slapping his face. I was like, oh my God, and then I just said, I'm going to copy what these pastors do. So I just said, in the name of Jesus, spirit of death, come out. And Gary was like that, and he coughed. So when I discussed it with some doctors, they said, you know what, Angeli, he could have been dead already. I was, all I kept saying was, Psalm 91, with long life will I satisfy him. And he was not that old, so I said, no, he's going to have long life. And then I memorized, Psalm 23, right? So I say, even though I walk in the valley of the shadow of death, I fear no evil. So when you memorize these things, you're not afraid. Because you'd rather focus on, which is, it doesn't feel like it's truth, because it's so hard to focus on the word and think that the guy is dead, but don't believe it. So I learned to walk by faith and not by sight.
Amen.
So that's it.
If there's a...
Nag-preaching na.
No,
No, but really, he's not an easy man to live with. Yes, I think all men, right?
she's really, really very blessed that I don't say anything. It's been a tough union, being together for this long, and then pressured pa by what people expect. A lot of people actually hope. Sana dumapa ang isa sa kanila para lalo pang pag-uusapan ang samahan nila. And how will they get through that test? But I pray that those people who say those things, I pray they never have to go through what she's gone through with me. Especially in those moments when I came close to death. Because I really did come close to it.
Many
Times. But the last thing I'd like to share with everyone is, especially in a marriage.
Can I be excused?
Yes, you can.
No, I was going to tell you that, just to correct I never wanted to be a star. First is I finished the PUP business. And when my manager, Sandra Chavez, she was my sorority sister, asked me to join this band. They needed 3 backup singers. Number one, I couldn't even sing well. I could sing in tune. Because I wanted to be an actress. I didn't want to be a singer, So I had absolutely no desire to be a star. So I didn't really give up much. Although I could have been a big star because FBJ asked me to be his leading lady. But I didn't like putting makeup all the time. And I didn't like fixing my hair. I didn't like, a waste of time. So I got a show coming up next week, August 20. You knew that. Oh my God, I was forced. They made a poster without asking me. I was like, na sorority, seniority ako kasi my sister, Sandra Chavez, in the sorority. She had several strokes. So, we're putting up some form of a tribute and a fundraiser for her. So they were forcing me. They only gave me 2 hours to rehearse. I said, how am I gonna do a show? And then when I looked at it,
tomorrow morning, if you wake up and the sun does not appear, I in the dark we lose sight of love. Hold